Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel and the allotment on a nice, lovely, fresh, sunny day. A little bit windy, but not too bad. Anyway, I'm down today. A couple of things I need to do. I had planned to do some more direct sowing, which I'm going to get round to. But I think one of the issues that I've got, particularly in this small house, and not necessarily with the huge sweet corn that I've got behind you, but the companion planting has gone rather well. In fact, it might have gone too well. I'll turn you around and let you have a quick look. So as you can see here, the marigolds are absolutely humongous, which I think is to the detriment. Look at the size of this plant here, it's massive, and I think that's to the detriment of the tomatoes that are in here. The basil as well has gone really well. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take a few of these marigolds out and plant them in these two beds here. Hopefully I'll be able to give them a good watering in and they'll survive, and then at least they're at the entrance to the greenhouse and they can still attract the pests rather than having them block out all the light. So let's get cracking and see if I can get these out without too much disturbance. Right, I'm going to see first of all how we go. What's the root system like? But either way, whether they survive or they don't, they are really taking a lot of the light out of here. See, look at the size of that. Now that is a marigold. So I'm going to stick it in a bucket of water first before I look to replant it, but just taking all the light out. Let's have a look. There's one in the back here as well. Companion planting is okay to a point, but when it's to the detriment of what you're growing, then you've got to make some decisions. And here we go again. Look, it's a different type. Look at the size of that. It's a good 2 foot tall. Immediately now I can see quite a lot of tomatoes behind there that were getting no light whatsoever. So whilst it looks a bit harsh, it's for the best. Right, I better go get a bucket. That'll do for now. Just let that one in there. Get that one in there. And I'll go in and get another. Whoa. I'm not too worried about the basil because you can just nip that right back and that stays out of the way. But these were just getting way too big. So I've just got one more to get. Right, there we go. I'm going to leave them just to soak for 2 minutes while I prepare these beds. So there we go. I've planted those in the beds. I've given them a full watering can. Now at the end of the day, you know, they may not survive. They may not do well. You know, the uprooting of them might kill them off. But I'm going to give them a chance. If they work, I'll keep watering them every day. They'll get a full can, and hopefully they'll survive, and I'll just keep deadheading them, and they'll stay there for some time. Right, all I'm going to do now, and all I've done, is I've nipped in, and as you can see now, the basil is here, and I've nipped all this right back, and you can actually now start and see the tomatoes that are in here. I do neglect the greenhouse quite some, because I'm not right clever at nipping out and doing things like that. I just think, you know what, if I get tomatoes at the end of the season, I'm happy. I've been doing it now for nearly 9 years and I've had a fair few tomatoes, so but every now and then you have got to give it a good fettling, and I've got to do something similar here with the melons and the cucumber. I've got a couple of Tommies here that are not too bad. But what I'm going to do now is to change the scenery. I get bored really quick. Change the scenery. I'm going to take you across and show you the peppers that I've put outside. I'm going to stand in the sun shelter because it protects us from the wind. It is very windy out here. As you can see, I'll go out when it's not gusting. As you can see, these others are bronze, and I stood them outside like a lot of people said. I gave them a good rinsing. This was the worst one out of them all, and as you can see, there's hardly any infestation on there at all now. So what I did is I just got a spray bottle with some soapy water, sprayed them off and stood them out here. And as you can see now, we've got ladybirds and all sorts on them. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. So I'm thinking if I can create a bit of shelter for them, I could actually leave them outside. The only thing I worry about is the wind, because these are quite tall plants. I would say that they are from pot to thing, probably about 18 inch to 2 foot out of the pots. So if we get serious winds, they're going to blow all over. So I'm thinking, Martin's got some perspex that he said I could have. I might try and create a little bit of a shelter. I can put some road pins in each corner, attach the plastic perspex to it, and then that at least protects them from the wind, and I can leave them outside. But as you can see there, you know, they do flap about. That bit of string between the bamboo canes is what's keeping them together. If not, they'd be all over the place. But I think that's a success story. Problem averted. So I've come back across to the small greenhouse and back to the other thing that you gratefully answered some of my issues. As you can see here on the giant beanstalk, there are 1 or 2 cobs forming. I've got one here, there's a few at the back, There's one up at the top there. So what I'm going to do is, as has been suggested, I'm going to try and self-pollinate those. Now, I may have been a bit too hasty with the tassels. Apparently you've got to wait for those tassels to turn into pollen. So what I'm going to do, if you look outside there, there's quite a lot of the sweet corn there have now got its tassels. I'm going to wait until that turns to pollen. I'm going to gather that up in a piece of paper, and then I'm going to come and sprinkle it into these areas. Now, am I right in saying that? Am I right in saying that, Valerie? I'm taking your instructions. But, yes, I couldn't see any form of cob. Now it looks as though there are some. Right. Just take you across. I think this plant is absolutely stunning. I just absolutely love it. And do you know what? I'm going to do that again next year. I just think it's great. It attracts all the bees that I wanted it to do. Yeah, so anyway, I'm over here. So these are, it's very, very windy. Sorry about the sound. So these are now starting, these sweet corn are starting to get the tassels. As soon as that pollen starts to form, I'm going to grab some of that and take it across to the greenhouse. Somebody were asking about the vine. The vine's there, and it's pretty much just stayed as it has since I put it in, so it must be finding its feet. I don't think I'm going to direct sow today. It's too windy. Hey up, it's one of my plot neighbours. 2 seconds, I'll be back with you. Yes, he's just called over to get some of the seed heads off the sweet peas, because I'll be getting rid of those shortly because they are burnt out. I didn't take as many flowers and cuttings as I should have done, hence they've burnt out now. There's still a few on this one, but as I was saying, I'm not going to do any direct sowing today because it's so windy. So I think I'm going to give that a miss and wait for a calmer day to do that. But I've got another question to ask you. I bet you're sick of me, aren't you? So here in the garden, I have this plum tree, and as you can see, it has this on the back, and all the leaves seem to be curling up and dying, and they're very, very sticky. There's a lot of ladybirds on here, so that is obviously, there's something attracting them. So if anybody's got any idea what could possibly be wrong with this plum tree, I'd much appreciate it. It has been moved from the back plot, but as you can see there, those have really curled up, and as I say, they feel very, very sticky. So any help with that, guys, would be much appreciated. Yeah, I don't think that I'm going to go out there doing the direct sowing in this. It's far too windy, and you won't be hear a word I'm saying anyway, so I think that'd be pointless. But what we're going to sow is some lettuce, Cots lettuce. That's going to go in probably between now and the weekend. Some little gem, which I quite like. Lola Rossa, which is fine. Just got to pick that early because it does bolt quite quick. Some good old radish. And some spring onions, white Lisbon, and North Holland blood red. So they're going to go into the beds over there. I was given some of this the other day, and you guys just come on at the top of the allotment there, and he's from Zimbabwe, and he had these. And he says they're called, what did he call them? Sugar sticks. He says, and they grow like a bamboo. And they get sort of 4 foot-ish high. And then you can snap them off and you can actually just eat the canes. Never heard of it before. Anybody got any idea? I'm sure he said sugar sticks, but I'll check. But he took me up to his plot. He's only been on about 8 weeks, and you won't believe what he's done. He's turned that plot round. It's fully planted. I don't know. I think he has a lot of sweet corn, a lot of maize, pumpkins, things like that. But he did say that he'd be quite happy for me to go up and show you guys what he grows and how he grows. But what he's done, I would say, I'm not joking you, probably 8 weeks. In 8 weeks, he's turned that plot around completely. To having been full of weed, to being dug over, to having sweet corn, I kid you not, this high. So I'll try and get that video in the next, or a visit to his plot in the next couple of videos or so. But it's definitely worth waiting and seeing. Right, anyway, I'm going to get myself off. What I've decided to do, I'm going to start and make these midweek videos just a little bit shorter. I think I've been getting a bit carried away, and some of them have been turning into like feature-length films. So I'm going to try and start and just condense it down during the midweek, and maybe have a little longer one over the weekend. So I'm going to go today. I'm going to go nip down and see Martin. So until I see you the next time, thank you very much. And oh, by the way, we hit the 3,000 mark. I'm on 3,001. That's if nobody has unsubscribed. So thank you very, very much for your support, for all those subscribers, all those people that watch. It really is appreciated. So now I'm heading for the 5,000. That's where we want to go now. Think big, Mal. Think big. Right, guys, have a great rest of the week. Take care, and I'll see you over the weekend, God willing. Happy growing.